My name's Clara Kelly. I'm 22 years old and just finished college with a degree in fashion design. At my graduation party in our Springfield home, my parents handed me an envelope, smiling in that tight, unreadable way. "This is from Grandma," Mom said, her tone strangely flat. Inside were two crisp $100 bills. I forced a smile, but the disappointment burned. $200, that was it. My sister, the eternal golden child, always got extravagant gifts for every milestone, while I'd been scraping by, saving every penny and dreaming of launching my own fashion brand. I tucked the envelope away, trying to swallow that familiar ache of being unseen. A month later, Grandma came to visit. During dinner, she looked at me with her usual warmth and asked, "Clara, did the $18,000 I sent to help with your fashion business make a difference?" My heart froze. "Grandma, I only got $200, I whispered. Her face tightened instantly, eyes darkening with fury. What had my parents done with the rest? I was about to uncover something that would shatter everything I believed about my family. If stories of betrayal and buried family secrets speak to you, hit subscribe and join me as I reveal what happened next. Growing up in our Springfield neighborhood, I always felt like the afterthought. My parents, Linda and Mark Kelly, had eyes only for my older sister, Riley. At 25, Riley worked part-time as a cashier at a local supermarket, barely showing up for half her shifts, yet my parents acted like she was destined for greatness, always finding money to fund her whims. Somehow, that money never existed for me. While Riley spent her days shopping or lounging at home, I poured my heart into my job at a fabric shop, surrounded by threads and patterns that made me feel alive. Every stitch brought me closer to my dream of starting. Mom and Dad started showing off new luxuries, spending money in ways that didn't fit our quiet, middle-class life in Springfield. One afternoon, Mom came home with a glittering diamond necklace, saying it was a little gift to herself. Dad wouldn't stop boasting about his new routine of weekly spa appointments, massages, facials, the works, at some high-end salon downtown. Their sudden taste for extravagance made my stomach twist. Where was this money coming from? We were never wealthy, not even close. Yet now they were acting like they'd hit the jackpot. Riley wasn't any different. One day, my sister strutted through the front door swinging a designer handbag, its logo gleaming beneath the kitchen lights. "Isn't it stunning?" she said, flipping her hair with a grin. Then she pulled out the latest smartphone and began snapping selfies like a celebrity. My jaw clenched. Her supermarket job could barely cover gas, let alone a bag worth thousands. I caught her gaze and asked, "How can you even afford that, Riley?" She laughed and waved me off. "Mind your business, Clara," she snapped. It wasn't just the bag or the phone, it was the way she carried herself, like she was entitled to all of it. The unease wouldn't leave me. One evening, I walked into the living room to find Mom admiring a pair of emerald earrings. "These are from Grandma's extra support," she said casually, avoiding my eyes. Extra support? I thought bitterly. Grandma's money was supposed to help us survive, not feed Mom's jewelry obsession. I pressed her gently but firmly. "What extra support, Mom?" She froze. Then her expression hardened. "Don't interrogate me, Clara. It's family money," she snapped. Her defensiveness only deepened my suspicion. Then Dad entered, showing off a new watch, and quickly changed the subject to dinner. The secrecy in the air was suffocating. None of it added up. Grandma's letters always mentioned helping us out. Yet if she'd been sending money, why was I still struggling to make ends meet at the fabric shop, counting every dollar toward my fashion dreams? Riley's new toys and Mom's pampering sessions didn't fit our normal budget. Would they pretend to be the perfect family once Grandma showed up? The thought of their fake smiles made my fists tighten. That night, I lay awake, Sheila's advice echoing in my mind. If I told Grandma how I really felt, it could ignite a storm. Mom would snap, Dad would avoid the topic, and Riley, she'd roll her eyes and call me dramatic. I could almost hear her voice now. "Why do you always make such a big deal, Clara?" But staying silent felt even worse, like I was betraying myself. Grandma's visit might be my one chance to speak up, even if it meant facing the tension I'd run from for years. I stared at the ceiling, my mind spinning with questions. Would Grandma understand? Would she see through Mom and Dad's excuses? I wasn't sure, but the burden of silence had never felt heavier. The day finally came. Our Springfield house buzzed with energy as Mom set the table for Grandma's welcome dinner. At first, the atmosphere felt light, filled with the clink of glasses and Riley's laughter as she showed Dad a new app. Mom hummed cheerfully while arranging a platter of roasted chicken. Her smile stretched too wide to be real. I stayed quiet, nerves coiling tight in my chest, but the sight of Grandma soon grounded me. She stepped inside, her silver hair perfectly brushed, her kind smile unchanged. I hugged her hard, feeling a flicker of safety in her arms. Dinner began smoothly, conversation flowing easily. Grandma turned to me, her eyes glowing with warmth. "Clara, how's your fashion line coming along?" she asked. "Did the $18,000 I sent help with your startup?" The room went silent. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth as my pulse thudded in my ears. 18,000? I managed, my voice trembling. "Grandma, I only received 200. The words sliced through the quiet. Mom's face went pale. Dad's glass hit the table with a dull sound. Riley froze, her smile fading as her eyes darted to Mom. Grandma's expression hardened, her kindness replaced by steel. 200, she repeated, her tone sharp. She turned to my parents, gaze unwavering. "Linda, Mark, where's the rest of the money I sent for Clara?" The air thickened. Mom fidgeted, twisting a napkin in her hands. We used it for family needs," she stammered. Grandma leaned forward, her voice unrelenting. "What needs?" she pressed. Dad tried to step in, his tone shaky. "It's complicated, Mildred." I stared into the darkness, torn in two. Leaving meant walking away from Mom, Dad, and Riley, the family I'd spent my life trying to please. A part of me still loved them, despite everything. Could I really go? Mom's tearful confession at dinner echoed in my mind, tears not for me, but for being caught. Dad's excuses, Riley's defensiveness, time and again, they had chosen themselves over me. Yet the thought of leaving felt like severing a thread I'd clung to my whole life. What if they needed me? What if I failed alone? Then I thought about my dreams, the stacks of sketches scattered in my room, the runway I envisioned every night. Working at Grandma's studio could make them real. Living with her meant freedom, no more Riley smirks or Mom's dismissive looks, but also stepping into the unknown. I'd be leaving Springfield, my job, the life I knew. The decision weighed heavy, each side pulling hard. Grandma watched me quietly, her eyes kind but firm. "You deserve this, Clara," she said softly. "Don't let their mistakes keep you trapped." Her words cut through the fog of doubt, reminding me of all the years I'd felt invisible. I thought of Sheila, who always told me to stand tall. I could almost hear her voice saying, "This is your moment." Slowly I nodded. "Okay, Grandma," I said, my voice steady for the first time that night. "I'll do it." Her smile felt like a promise of something better. I had chosen my future, and there was no turning back. A week later, I stood in the dimly lit living room of our Springfield house, suitcase in hand, ready to face Mom, Dad, and Riley one last time. The air was thick, broken only by the faint creak of the floorboards. Mom sat on the couch, eyes red, clutching a tissue like it could hold her together. Dad stood near the window, avoiding my eyes. Riley leaned against the wall, her usual smirk gone, replaced by a strained frown. I wasn't there to fix things. I was there to leave. "Clara, we're sorry," Mom began, her voice trembling. "We never meant to take so much." Dad stepped closer, pleading. "We're family, Clara. We can make this right." Even Riley's voice was small, unfamiliar. "I didn't know it was your money, Clara. Please don't go." Their words stung, but they couldn't erase the years of betrayal. I had spent my life seeking their approval, only to find they'd used my dreams to fund their own comforts. I took a slow breath. "You spent Grandma's money, the money meant for my future, on yourselves," I said firmly. "I can't trust you anymore." Mom's tears fell harder, but they felt empty. "We'll fix it," she begged. "Don't leave us, Clara," Dad added. Riley reached for me, whispering, "You're my